God only knows. Hello, YouTube. That was fun. Yes, it was a time zone error. It must have been because I would not have put 8 o'clock as the start of the show. I don't know how that happened. It did. Anyway, we're good. That was crazy. Thank you, Amanda, for telling everybody. All right, let me just check in on the Substackers so I can see them all. Them all. Here we go. Is this the right one? That's the right one. Okay. Hey, Substackers. I got you now. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. We're at that time of year where my apartment goes back and forth between, thank you, between hot and cold. It was hot, now it's cold, now it's like, All right, we are good. YouTube, I'm going to start TikTok, and we are good to go here. Whew. Like I said, I was playing, actually, I was discovering for TikTok, actually for everything, Instagram reached out, interestingly enough, and I didn't believe it was really Instagram at first, but they were like reaching out to give creators advice. And she had mentioned on Instagram, hey, TikTok, the woman on Instagram reached out to me and said, you know, we've got a really good editing tool called Edits. And you can use it and download high quality and then upload to TikTok and everywhere else. And I've been trying it, and the video quality is way bad. I've been using TikTok's video, downloading it and then uploading it to YouTube and elsewhere. Oh my God, this Instagram editing stuff, TikTok, I was just saying, I've been using Instagram's edit tool to create the last couple videos. Check out like the last couple videos on TikTok. I mean, the quality is so much better. Like just the quality of the video is ridiculously better. It also looks better too. Like it's a much brighter, more saturated video. It's really cool. So anyway, somebody check them out because I'm kind of curious what you think, because it's so much, the videos just look better. So now I'm hooked on this Instagram thing now. Anyway, welcome everybody. Yep, things went a little slow starting today. I had a little tech hang up, but we're good now. We're good now. Anyway, welcome everybody. Hello, hello TikTok, hello YouTube, hello Instagram. We've got our news ready to rock and roll. Good amount of news to talk with you about today. Not a ton, but a good amount. Dog is doing well. Thank you for asking, Drummer. She was having a little issue walking yesterday. Today's better. She got her shot again today. She's getting the once a month Librela shot, which helps for arthritis, which she may have. So let's see. But I think she's already, you all right, kid? She's already doing a little better. She's just old, you know? I think clearly every day is going to be a little better, a little worse, but she's doing okay. Thank you for asking. Anyway. Welcome, guys. Yeah, let's get rolling here. So I'm John Aravosis. We're going to talk about the latest news. Definitely starting some Iran stuff. Yeah, Putin's paranoia stuff is very interesting, too. We'll talk a little bit about Russia later. Actually, remind me about the Putin paranoia stuff, because I was going to put it in my notes and I didn't. But we can talk about that later when we talk about Russia. Thank you, Karis. Please do keep the gifts coming, guys. I do this for a living, and I very much appreciate your gifts on TikTok and YouTube over there as well. But keep them coming because they help support my work, and I like that. So thank you for that. And let's get rolling. So, guys, we're going to start with Iran, of course. It's such a, I try not to swear too much because I think TikTok doesn't like it. It's such a cluster F, what's going on with the war. Trump is desperate for the war to be over. Thank you, Lamb Chop, for the gift there. Trump is desperate for the war to be over. Ukraine knows it. And if you're not Ukraine, I keep saying Ukraine. Iran knows it. And if you're Iran, you're looking at this going, well, right now we're at a stalemate, right? Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz. So Trump turned around and said, fine, which cut off 20% of the world's oil and natural gas. So Trump turned around and said, fine, then we're just going to cut off all of Iran's oil exports and everything, right? And that's maybe good or bad. It certainly puts more pressure on Iran, because after a certain time, it starts to destroy their oil wells where they won't be able to get some of the oil out ever again. So that could put pressure on Iran. But Iran, basically, what Trump was bargaining with, and he said publicly last week, he said, I don't care how long the Strait of Hormuz is closed. He said, I closed it myself. Iran shouldn't say they closed it. I closed it myself, Trump claimed, right? And he said, I don't care how long the Strait of Hormuz is closed. I'm going to keep it closed indefinitely because we can wait longer than Iran. Well, then yesterday we find out, oh my God, Trump is panicked about getting the Strait open again, and he's asking the Europeans again to help. And it's like, you just said 5 days ago publicly that you don't care how long it's closed, right? To put Iran on the spot to say, we don't care, we're going to leave it closed. And then 5 days later, oh my God, please open it. Well, if you're Iran, you're watching this and you're going, oh, thank you, Blue. You're watching this and you're going, we should just sit back. Trump is in a panic. Trump is desperate to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Trump is also desperate not to have the war start up again. I mean, the war isn't over, but we're not bombing each other, right? Well, today, yesterday, Hegseth claimed yesterday, Trump did too, that the War Powers Resolution, which is a clock that ticks with legislation in Congress, where basically after our troops are what's the word I'm looking for? Combat or whatever for 60 days. I forget the exact term in the legislation. But basically, once our troops are in combat for 60 days, Congress has to authorize the military action. In other words, Congress has to grant the war power to the executive. And Trump then claimed, well, no, because we have a ceasefire. Thank you, Diana. Very cute TikTok gift. Because we're at a ceasefire, it's not really like we're at war anymore. So the clock stops ticking. So Congress doesn't have the right to intervene because there's no war. It's a ceasefire. And a ceasefire Iran isn't even abiding by, right? Iran's been attacking the neighbors. Iran's been attacking U.S. ships. Iran's been attacking ships in the Gulf. In any case, so to get back to this, Marco Rubio says today, Secretary of State, combat operations launched in February are over. We're like, what? What do you mean they're over? Right? Rubio says that phase of the war is now over. The bombing phase is over. Now, we already pretty much knew that Donald Trump was terrified of this war, that Donald Trump was desperate to end this war, right? But Rubio just said it today. Oh, we're done. We're done. We're not leaving because there's a ceasefire, right? And the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. But Rubio said the combat operations are over. Again, if you're Iran, right? You're watching this and going, oh my God, these guys are desperate. These guys are absolutely desperate for the shooting not to start again. Trump does not want to get the shooting war to start again. Trump is desperate to get his ass out of there. Trump is desperate to find any excuse to end the war so that he can say victory. He does in Ukraine too. Trump is not exactly the brightest guy out there. He's also not the most honest guy. He's got some convictions, but I think Donald Trump's convictions pretty much boil down to self-aggrandizement, self-profit, right? Trump does stuff because it benefits him monetarily or benefits him personally or because he's pissed off at you and wants to hurt you. That's kind of the only two things in life that I think almost everything Trump does, that's how he decides to do things, right? I'm trying to think with Ukraine. We know Trump is just desperate to get it because Trump wants the Nobel Prize. Trump wants to be the one who settled the war between Russia and Ukraine, but he doesn't care what actually happens with the settlement. He doesn't care if the settlement helps Russia. He doesn't care if the settlement hurts Ukraine. He doesn't care if the settlement basically sets us up for another world war with Russia because things are so poorly decided by the way it ends. He doesn't care. He wants the war to end so he can go, please give me a Nobel Prize. I solved another war. But he doesn't care how it ends, right? And that's what's happening here with Iran. Trump doesn't care how it ends. I'm going to get to that. Actually, wait till I tell you the story in a second. Actually, I'll give you a tease. Reuters reports the last 2 months of bombing, right? We've been bombing Iran for 2 months because Trump had to finish their nuclear program. We did not set back Iran's nuclear program by even 1 day. The last 2 months of bombing have not changed the estimate of how long it would take Iran to get a nuclear weapon. Not even by a day. It did nothing to set back Iran's nuclear program. I just read that right now before the show. Reuters. And it wasn't Reuters. It was U.S. intelligence agents talking to Reuters. But let's get to that in a second, okay? Wall Street Journal. In several recent conversations with aides, Trump expressed frustration that the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, while effective in crushing Iran's economy, hadn't forced Tehran to meet his nuclear demands. Economist reporter Greg Carlstrom tweeted this article and then tweeted his own analysis. He says, this is basically the story of the whole war. people convince Trump that a particular military action will drive rapid political change in Iran. The military action predictably fails to do so. Trump gets frustrated, rinse and repeat. So basically, Trump gets conned into doing something militarily. It doesn't work. And then he gets conned into doing something else, right? He attacked Iran last year thinking, oh, it's going to destroy their nuclear capability. It didn't. Then he's going to attack it this year. Oh, it's going to destroy their nuclear capability. It didn't. You know what? You're having a timeout. And I know what you're doing, Hunter. If you do that again, you're going to get banned. Don't pull that bullshit, okay? Sorry, we've got a bigot on the YouTube thing. Didn't think I recognized he was being a bigot. He's got a timeout in case he fucked up, but I don't think he fucked up. I think he knew what he was doing. All right. Trump is, yes. Trump is also downplaying the recent attacks on shipping. Okay, the recent attacks on shipping and Iran's neighbor. Wall Street Journal's Yaroslav Trofimo says the hesitation is likely. So Trump, Iran, thanks, Manda. You saw that guy. I think you saw what he was doing. Maybe you didn't. I wasn't sure because he was talking in code, but I knew exactly what he was doing. Iran has been attacking the Arab neighbors. Iran has been attacking U.S. ships. Iran's been attacking ships going through the Gulf and going through the Strait. And basically trying to, thank you, Blue. Oh, Blue. And who was the other one? The other one was very cool, too. There was Blue and, wait, where's the other one? Or was it Blue's? Was it just yours? I thought it was another one that was there. Oh, maybe it was just Blue. Okay. I thought it was somebody else's. That was Blue. Oh, no, Tammy's. Thank you. It was delayed in giving me your name, Tammy. Thank you for that. And thank you, Blue, again. No, because I knew there was another one there. That was Tammy's. Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. And Derby Rose, too. Thank you, Tammy. So Iran keeps breaking the ceasefire. And Trump is so desperate for war not to start again. I mean, we're at war, but for bombing not to start again, that he keeps going, that's not a violation of the ceasefire. It's like Iran attacked the United Arab Emirates. Not a violation. Iran attacked, like, I think our own ships, let alone the ships that are that were kind of escorting. It's not a ceasefire. Wall Street Journal reporter says, this hesitation is likely to encourage more Iranian strikes. Tehran calculates that Trump is desperate to extricate himself from the war, no matter the cost. As I said, if you're Iran, I'm letting you out, dog, but so help me God, you eat something and I'm going to kill you. My dog is in full-blown, I want to eat things on the balcony mode, but I try to let her out because otherwise she gets bored, but we're going to see what happens here. General Cain said this morning, listen to General Cain, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Since the ceasefire was announced, Iran has fired at commercial vessels 9 times and seized 2 container ships. They've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point. Iran attacked the U.S. vessels 10 times since the ceasefire started, but that's well below the threshold of holding them responsible for violating the ceasefire. 10 times they've attacked U.S. ships, and we didn't go after them. We didn't hold them responsible. As the Wall Street Journal reporter said, this sends the message that basically Iran can just keep attacking us. Nobody cares. Really, I mean, it just blows my mind with these guys. Oh, so the intelligence assessment. Yes, let's get talking about the intelligence assessment, right? So Reuters reports, this is amazing. Oh, hey, John Piper. Good to see you, or Peeper, depending how you say your name. Appreciate you becoming a new member. So Reuters reports yesterday that U.S. intelligence has determined that the war of the last 2 months has made no difference in Iran's nuclear program at all. Let's step back. First, they said when Trump attacked the first time, actually, Trump is talking today to a bunch of grade school kids. They're very young. They look like kids aged like 4 to 10 or 4 to 12. Right? They're very young kids. And he's got them in the Oval Office. And he's talking to them about Iran and nuclear weapons, and they wanted to kill us. And he's going on and on about death and destruction to these kids. And it was very strange, right? Well, one of the things he tells the kids, did you know last year when we bombed Iran in June, they were 2 weeks away from getting a nuclear bomb? And I'm listening to this going, okay, that's a bunch of bullshit. Hey, you, come on, that's enough. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Thank you. All right. There. gave the dog a little bit of her wanderlust on the balcony, but not enough for her to eat every plant I own and then get sick. So Trump says 2 weeks. We were 2 weeks away from Iran getting a nuke last summer when he attacked them. Now, you might ask yourself, why is this the first time we're hearing about it, right? A couple weeks ago actually, I shouldn't say it's the second time, maybe a month ago, Trump or somebody in his cabinet claimed, I think it was Bessent actually, who claimed, Iran was 2 to 4 weeks away from getting nuclear weapons. And at the time I said, that's kind of funny. Because if that were true, don't you think they would have talked about it, right? And they didn't mention it. It's been a month or 6 weeks. They didn't mention it since then. If Iran were truly 4 weeks away, 2 weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon last year, and that's why Trump bombed them, why wouldn't Trump be repeating that again and again and again? If that were true, that would be a great argument for going at Iran and blowing them up, frankly, if they were 2 weeks away from getting nukes. But they didn't tell us this until a month ago, and then didn't mention it again, and Trump happens to mention it today to a bunch of children, but doesn't mention it to adults. Trump gave his big speech about Iran. Remember his big speech about the war like 6 weeks ago, right? Did Trump mention we were 2 weeks away from getting nukes? I don't think so. So he's lying about that anyway. U.S. intelligence, we now know because Reuters reported on it. U.S. intelligence says Trump lied. Iran was not 2 weeks away from getting a nuke when Trump attacked last June. Iran was actually, I'm going to adjust my light a little because it's a little bright in my eyes. Iran was actually 3 to 6 months away from getting a nuclear weapon if it wanted one. Iran was not building it. Now, this is an important point actually. Critics have said, for 30 years we keep hearing Iran is a year away from getting a nuclear weapon. And I keep trying to explain to people, it's kind of like saying, John, how long would it take you to make brownies from scratch? And I tell you, it would take me 45 minutes, right? I'd mix them up for 15 minutes and then half an hour in the oven. And you'd say to me, but you've been saying for 10 years you could make brownies in 45 minutes, but you've never made brownies. Correct. I can make brownies in 45 minutes. I can always make them in 45 minutes, but I haven't made them in years. I do make them all the time, but I haven't made them in years. That's been the situation with Iran's nuclear program. Iran has been close to building a bomb if they wanted to for years. They haven't made that final step to do it. And basically, it would be enriching the uranium to like 90% or 90, I forget the 93%, 2%, whatever it was, right? They haven't gone that last step. That's why everybody says, well, I keep hearing Iran's a year away. Why didn't they make it? They haven't chosen to make it, probably because they knew the U.S. would attack, and even more so. If Iran were this close away from getting a nuclear weapon, Israel would probably nuke them itself. Israel has nuclear weapons. So that's why Iran hasn't done it. That's why you always hear Iran is so close to getting a nuke but never gets it, because Iran hasn't been dumb enough to actually try to get the nuke. So what happens here? Iran, U.S. intelligence now says, last summer, Iran was 3 months to 6 months away from building a nuke if it wanted to, but it did not go that step. Trump bombs Iran, and you remember how afterwards. Actually, this is amazing. I'm all putting it all together now too. Trump bombs last year, the first time, and Trump says they're obliterated. Iran's nuclear program's obliterated. It's never coming back. And the Defense Intelligence Agency says, the spies at the Defense Department say, no. What we did was we set Iran's nuclear program back several months, like 3 months. We didn't set it back anymore. And Trump went nuts. The Republicans went nuts. I mean, I'm sure people at Defense Department got fired, right? Because they said, no, it's obliterated. What we just found out from the Reuters story was, I'm going to take you back with the timeline now. Before we attacked a year ago, Trump attacks a year ago, before we attack them, Iran is 3 months to 6 months away from getting a nuke. After we attacked last summer, we set Iran back so that it was 6 months to a year away from getting a nuke. In other words, we set the program back like 3 to 6 months. We set it back 3 to 6 months. That's exactly what the Defense Department said. When that whole controversy came up from DIA, Defense Intelligence, they said we only set it back like three months. That's exactly what we now know. Trump set Iran's nuclear program back 3 to 6 months. So the Defense Department was right. Trump lied about it being obliterated. You get to 2 months ago, the day before, let's say, Trump bombs Iran with Israel this time around. Iran's nuclear program, a day before we bombed 2 months ago, Iran is still 3 to 6 months away, 6 months to a year away from getting a nuke. If it wants one, it isn't trying to get one, but if it wants one, it's 6 months to a year away. We blow the crap out of Iran for 2 months now. It's been 65, 66 days. So a little over 2 months. Would that be 2 months? Yeah, a little over 2 months. We're unleashing inflation, right? We're unleashing inflation. Bad news with that. Oil prices going through the roof. Gasoline prices going through the roof. Airline prices going through the roof. Thank you, Connie. Diesel fuel going through the roof. All-time highs with diesel fuel. Why is that a big deal with diesel fuel? Well, because diesel fuel is responsible for everything, right? Diesel fuel is how you fly. Every product in the world around pretty much goes with diesel fuel. So when diesel fuel goes up, pretty much every physical product, not computer software, every physical product you buy goes up in price, okay? So prices go up. Obviously, we've lost, I forget the number, are we up to 13 members of the U.S. military? I forget. They haven't told us anymore, which is a little suspicious, that we've lost. A lot of other pain that we've had. This war has also cost us probably $50 to $100 billion at least because of all the military bases being destroyed as well in the region. What did we get out of it? We didn't set back Iran one day in terms of the nuclear program. Before we attacked 2 months ago, Iran was 6 months to 12 months away from getting a nuke. Today, U.S. intelligence says Iran is 6 months to 12 months away from getting a nuke, right? That's it. Denise, my law degree is from Georgetown, if you care. So, yeah, I mean, why did we do this then? Why did we do this, right? I mean, this is just, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. And again, if Iran cannot be permitted to get a nuclear weapon. Cannot. I draw the line on that one. Absolutely not. But Iran was not about to get a nuclear weapon. That's the thing. They weren't about to get a nuclear weapon. I mean, that's the thing that's weird to me. Anyway, I just, you know. All right, what else do we got here? Moving away from Iran for a second, okay? The ballroom. Trump's little ballroom. So, it's now going to cost us $1 billion, and you and I are paying for it. $1 billion, okay? The ballroom was supposed to cost $200 million. Remember how Trump knocked down the East Wing of the White House without permission? Trump told us he wasn't going to touch he was going to build a new ballroom, but he wasn't going to touch the White House. Then he knocked down the East Wing 3 days later on a weekend without telling anybody. So a big chunk of the White House is now gone. It's a big hole in the ground. Historic part of the White House, dating back to the early 1900s. So he does that. He then, what was I saying with this? Oh yeah. He then says, but don't worry, I'm going to get corporate America to pay for the new ballroom I'm building. It's going to be $200 million. So, okay. Then he says, well, it's going to be 250, maybe 300 million. It's going to be a little bigger. Then he says it's going to be 400 million now because it's going to be bigger. But don't worry, corporate America's paying, and here's all the companies, Amazon and Apple and all these companies, they're going to bribe, but whatever, right? They're going to pay. And we're all like, we're getting a little pissed off, but we're like, I'm glad the companies are paying, but I'm still kind of pissed off he's doing this. Then last week, we hear a Republican senator say, Lindsey Graham, Trump's big ally, say he wants to appropriate $400 million for the ballroom. And we're going, why is Trump's biggest ally in the Senate wanting to appropriate $400 million of our money to pay for a $400 million ballroom that we were told was already paid for by private industry? That was a week ago. Today, we find out that, actually last night we find out, actually Senate Republicans are now going to put $1 billion of our money in the new immigration bill they're trying to pass, because they're trying to give even more money to those NZs at ICE and everywhere. The new immigration bill, they're going to put $1 billion for Trump's ballroom of our freaking money. Now, first they're trying to claim, oh, but it's okay. It probably is 1.4, actually. They're trying to say, oh, it's okay because we're only going to let the money be used for security purposes. We're not going to let it be used for frivolous parts of the ballroom. No, they didn't say frivolous. They said it can only be spent on security for the ballroom. Okay, first of all, I don't care if it's security aspects of the ballroom. We didn't need a ballroom. We were told we're not paying for the ballroom. So if now he lied to us, he lied to us. He said it was paid for, it wasn't. He said it was going to be $200 million, it wasn't. He said $400 million, it wasn't. I don't care if you tell me, well, yeah, we're now going to charge you, the taxpayer, $1 billion for one of Trump's vanity projects, but it'll go for security stuff, so that's okay. Yeah, he lied to you. He lied to you about the price. He lied to you about it being paid for. He lied to you about the fact that you wouldn't pay a dime. But the $1 billion lie is for security, so that makes it okay. It's actually worse than that. I was thinking about this, because the legislation literally, I'm a lawyer. I worked in the U.S. Senate as well, so I've drafted legislation. And I'm looking at the legislation, and it says something like, no, none of these monies can be used for non-security aspects of the ballroom or something, right? And I'm reading it, and I'm going, well, wait a minute. Last week, after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? When the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened and the guy showed up with the gun, allegedly, and allegedly was going to kill people, what did Trump and the Republicans say? They said, oh, no. We have to build the ballroom because the ballroom is a national security issue, they said, right? Having the ballroom is a national security issue because it's unsafe to have events outside of the White House, even though Trump routinely has events outside of the White House at his resorts so he can make lots of money off of the federal coffers, and he's still having events at his hotels around the world, right? But put that aside for a minute, right? They said the ballroom itself is a national security issue. The ballroom itself is a security issue because the ballroom will keep us safe. The legislation says no money can be spent on non-security aspects of the ballroom, but the entire ballroom is a security aspect. They already told us. You get it? I mean, again, this is the cute things they do. And we did this when I was there too. You write things in a way that you get what you want, but you make it sound like something else. All of that money is going to be spent on dishware and gold and all the other crap. The other thing is, even if, let's pretend for a moment that the Republicans truly are writing the law in a way to stop Donald Trump from spending the money on frivolous aspects of the ballroom. Let's pretend, even though we know that's bullshit. Do you think Donald Trump is going to obey the law? He already broke the law with regards to the arch, right? The arch, that big arch he wants to build, the big NZ, Germany World War II arch he wants to build, he stole the money. The money for the arch, he's claiming $15 million. Bullshit, right? You all know that arch is going to cost $100 million, right? But he claims $15 million. Thank you, Noni. Thank you, Andy. And he took the money. Hey, stop. He took the money from the National Endowments for the Humanities. He just went and took $15 million from the National Endowment for the Humanities and decided to build an arch in his name in Northern Virginia. How, right? It was not appropriated by Congress. The money was appropriated by Congress specifically for the National Endowment. It was not appropriated for Donald Trump to take as a slush fund to build an arch in his name. But he did it anyway because who's going to stop him? His FBI? Is his FBI director going to arrest him? Is his Attorney General, Todd Blanche, going to investigate and file charges against Trump? Really? Right? So, the notion with everything we've been through, right, that Donald Trump, oh, well, if the law says that Donald Trump can't break the law, then I'm sure he won't. The law also said you can't violently overthrow the government. The law also said you can't steal classified information, right? The law said lots of things. Didn't really matter with this guy, right? Trump attacked the Pope again while doing an interview with Hugh Hewitt. Listen to this. The Pope would rather talk. Oh, hang on. Let me get my hair. Where's my hair? I still have to get my brush for my hair. We need to get a new. It tickles my nose every time I do it. It's annoying. The Pope would rather talk about the fact that it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon, and I don't think that's very good. I think he's endangering a lot of Catholics and a lot of people, but I guess it's up to the Pope. Yeah. Please keep attacking the Pope. Please keep attacking the Pope. Please, 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 please. Economist Mark Zandi, big famous economist, wrote something about the tariffs today. I'm going to read it to you, but the impact of the tariffs. Jed Bartlett, exactly. There's a wonderful, Denise just wrote on YouTube, the best president of the 21st century was Jed Bartlett. Somebody, some shop in town 25 years ago, 25 years ago, and I should have bought it, I never did, sold coffee mugs, and the coffee mugs said on them, "Don't blame me, I voted for Bartlett." And they were the most wonderful coffee mugs ever. I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. But I love that. Don't blame me, I voted for Bartlett. Economist Mark Zandi on the tariffs. We have a year's worth of economic data since Liberation Day. Liberation Day was the announcement of Trump's huge tariffs. When President Trump announced much higher tariffs on most imported goods and countries, and the data are definitive. The tariffs have done significant damage to the economy. Since that day, job growth has come to a standstill, with only the non-traded healthcare industry adding meaningfully to payrolls. Also, since that day, inflation has accelerated, and the trend lines don't look good, especially as the economic fallout from the Iran war hits with full force. The higher energy and other commodity prices caused by the war threaten to do even more economic damage than the tariffs, further undermining growth and pushing inflation higher. The U.S. economy is resilient, but just how resilient is set to be tested. A Pew poll shows that only 9% of Americans think it is acceptable to name government buildings after Trump while he is president. What was interesting to me was they then asked people, after he's president, is it okay to name buildings after Trump? Only an additional 21% thought it was okay to name the buildings after he's president. In other words, add it together in this poll, and Pew is very reputable. In this poll, only 30% of Americans believe that any building should be named after Donald Trump even after he's gone. 30% is it. 70%, well, either say no or they're not sure. The Bulwark is a conservative, sort of a conservative, not loving Trump publication. Bulwark did a focus group with two-time Trump voters, with voters who voted for Trump twice, right? And a strong majority of them think the White House Correspondents' Dinner assassination attempt was a psychological operation designed to help Trump get his ballroom. I gotta tell you, I was very, no, you know, a lot of this stuff you sometimes think it's Russian propaganda or Chinese propaganda or whatever. I was surprised how many people thought the attack was fake. I'm not convinced it was fake, to be honest. I'm really not. I mean, I know people don't always believe. I think it was real, this one at the Correspondents' Dinner. But, and this is what's important, but, as always happens with Donald Trump, do I think Donald Trump would fake it? Absolutely. Do I believe he did fake it on this one? I don't think so. But would he? Right? I mean, right? And then you apply it to the previous incidents as well, and it gets interesting. Officials at the, this is great. Officials at the Food and Drug Administration have blocked, actually, no, I want to tell you this one first. Miami Herald reports. So remember how Miami is naming one of their airports after Trump? I think it's Palm Beach International, I think. And they're naming one of their airports after Trump, right? Miami Herald reports that Palm Beach and a Trump company reached a tentative trademark deal to rename Palm Beach Airport after Trump. As a result, airport stores can only buy branded merchandise from Trump organization-approved retailers, and it gives Trump veto power over any biographical information in the airport marketing tools. Trump is going to make money off of the airport naming itself. After him, of course. Officials at the Food and Drug Administration have blocked publication of several studies supporting the safety of widely used vaccines against COVID and shingles. Shingles! RFK is going after shingles vaccines now in recent months. The studies, which cost millions of dollars in public funds, were conducted by scientists at the agency who worked with data firms to analyze millions of patient records. They found serious side effects to be very rare in the shingles vaccine and the COVID vaccine. Folks, RFK Jr. is now trying to discredit the shingles vaccine as well because, as we know, he's anti-vaccine in general. And we knew this going in, okay? Again, he actually did it again the other day. He put out repeated disinformation about the polio vaccine. He claimed the polio vaccine. I forget what it was. His organization, actually, it was the organization he set up. The organization he set up claimed that the polio vaccine. What was the exact quote now? They said polio wasn't caused by polio; it's caused by toxins in your blood. Oh, and therefore the vaccine doesn't work, they said. That was it. Yeah, because it's not really caused by polio. He also said, RFK Jr. also said famously, CNN quoted him on this, and he claimed it was a lie, and CNN said, okay, play the tape. There's a tape of him right before the election, so now it's probably a year and a half ago. And in the interview, he says, no vaccine has been proven safe or effective. No vaccine has ever been proven safe and effective. And CNN goes, you just said, a couple months ago, this is right before the election they said this, they go, a couple months ago, you said that no vaccine has ever been proven safe or effective. No, I didn't say that. The woman didn't even argue with him. The woman hosting goes, okay, play the tape. And they play a 1 minute long tape, a video of RFK Jr. on a podcast like only 2 or 3 months before going off about this. Did you see it, Carol? She was brilliant. I mean, literally, she didn't say, well, yes, you did, but we have, he started going, I never said, she goes, okay, play the tape. Because she was ready for it. And again, it was a minute of the tape because he did this at a congressional hearing last week too. He always goes, I never said that. And you just have to throw it in his face. And it was a minute long, which was the best part. The tape was a minute long. So there was no way for him to say, well, it was out of context. It was a whole minute where you're going, okay, he clearly said this, right? You got the context, you got everything. Anyway, is shingles non-contagious? I don't know. The question with shingles would be if you touch the rash. I don't know. You'd have to Google and see. It's not the kind of thing you get by air, not like chickenpox. No. I had shingles. Nasty. Very nasty. But let me just tell you, shingles, nasty as F. I mean, oh my God. We've talked about this before. A number of you have had shingles too. Nasty, nasty, nasty disease. And sometimes it doesn't go away. Shingles is horribly painful. I will tell you exactly, because I had it. I had a rash like this on my back, and I'm going, what the hell? Like, at first, you think, oh, I must have rubbed up against something or whatever, right? It's funny, as I'm telling you this, I'm feeling the area of my back where it was, and it's actually a little bit, like, there's a little bit of sensitivity still there after all these years. I'm like, that's funny, I can tell exactly where it was. It was a little sensitive, it was red, and after a couple days, it started hurting, and it was still red, like after 2 weeks, or after a week, actually. Go to the doctor, he goes, you got shingles. I'm like, what do you mean I've got shingles? Well, it was really hurting at this point, and it feels like a knife. I mean, because it's nerve pain. It literally felt like I had a knife in my back. I mean, that's not a nice feeling, as you can imagine. And he goes, we can try to give you the antiviral, whatever it is. It's been a little late, but it's not the worst, because you have to take it within the first 5 days. I said, please do. And I said, can you do anything for the pain? He goes, no. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's nerve pain. It's not like it's pain, so Tylenol and that stuff isn't going to help. He goes, there's drugs for nerve pain, but you really don't want to take them. He said, they'll knock you out. He goes, they'll do more goofiness to, like, they're horrifically going to knock you out. Like the kind of drugs they don't want you taking, right? And he goes, so I said, well, okay, does this tend to work, the antiviral? He goes, well, basically he goes, look, a lot of people, he goes, it could go away in 2 months. It may. I said, okay. He goes, it may go away in 2 months. It may go away in a year. He said, it may never go away. I'm like, what do you mean never? He goes, for some people, shingles never goes away. And the rash stays forever and the pain stays forever. Oh. I mean, I couldn't sleep on my back because there was so much pain. Yeah, Sasha was on gabapentin too. Hello, dog. I know. Hi. Not right now. She wants food, of course. So anyway, yeah, shingles. It can come back. They do say that the vaccine can help it. They believe the vaccine can help it not reoccur. So that's important. So I got the vaccine. I definitely got the vaccine. We talked about this before. I always forgot the vaccine. Shingles, I always forget. Shingles was the one, we talked about this before, whether it was shingles or pneumonia, I always forget. Which vaccine, the second one knocks you on your ass? I think it's shingles, we said, right? The second, there's two vaccines, and the second one is like, oh, you feel very sick. But it is shingles, yeah. But it's totally worth it, because I had shingles. It's worth 2 or 3 days of feeling horrific versus a lifetime of feeling horrific. And there's my PSA. So Ukraine, really quick. So Russia declared a ceasefire for May 8th and 9th. We told this, remember, Russia likes to pretend that they single-handedly solved World War II. They didn't. They like to have a parade May 9th for their big victory. And Putin wants a ceasefire because he's afraid that Ukraine's gotten very good at their drone stuff. And Putin's afraid that Ukraine's going to attack them on May 9th in the middle of their big parade on Red Square in Moscow. So Trump, first of all, is trying to broker a ceasefire with Putin for May 9th. And Zelensky yesterday goes, what are you doing? He goes, I didn't realize America was at war. I'm paraphrasing, but Zelensky goes, I didn't realize America was at war with Russia. Why is America trying to broker a ceasefire with Russia? Why isn't Russia talking to us? Right? What the hell's going on? Secondly, why should Ukraine give Russia a ceasefire for some holiday they want to celebrate so Putin doesn't feel threatened and their holiday isn't ruined? Why the F should Ukraine care about that? So the Russians came out today and said, if Ukraine doesn't give us our ceasefire, we are going to attack the heart of Kyiv. Oh no, we wouldn't want the Russians to, attack Ukraine. Like they've been doing for a year and a half, attacking children, attacking women, attacking people's homes. I mean, the arrogance of these people. I mean, the freaking arrogance of these people, right? Oh, we're going to attack you. Yeah, you already do. And honestly, at this point, if I were Russia, I'd be a little worried. Because if I were Russia, first of all, I'd be saying, if I were Ukraine, I'd be saying, you need to take that back now, or you're going to have 1,000 drones flying to Moscow, and you're not going to be able to stop 1,000 drones. Anyway, election update from CNN's Harry Enten. The percentage of Democrats and Republicans who say they absolutely are certain to vote in November in our congressional elections. For Democrats, the number that are absolutely certain to vote is 75%. For Republicans, it's 67%. That's a big difference, he says. Why does it matter? He says the generic fall congressional ballot, when you look at the generic, meaning you ask people, forget about your particular district you live in. Overall, who do you want to run Congress, right? Who would you vote for to run Congress? When you ask all voters, Democrats win by 5 points, by 5 percentage points, when you ask all voters. When you ask only those voters certain to vote, Democrats win by 9 percentage points. So Democrats win by 5 percentage points when you say all voters, by 9 percentage points when you ask those voters who are certain to vote. That's why it matters. Democrats have got the more energized base. Democrats are more energized to vote. It means they're also more energized to give money, but they're more energized to turn out, which is hugely important. I was going to show you really quick. So Trump came off of Marine One in the last day, and I wanted to show you this video. Marine One is the helicopter. It's the helicopter. Here, take a look at this, okay? Thank you for the hair. Watch Trump as he's coming off of this. Sorry, I want to show you this first, though. Watch this. Watch as he's walking on the ground, the way he walks. He's not going sideways because he's trying to walk straight, and he can't walk straight. He's wobbling back and forth. He's wobbling back and forth. Look at him. And finally, he's going to go to the left because he wants to. But up until now, now he's actually turning to go to a different direction. But previously, he was wobbling back and forth as if you think he's going somewhere else. But he's just like back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. I don't know. Something's wrong with him, clearly. And then finally, I was going to show you. So let me show you this one first. So the White House thought it would be funny, because they did this last year too. They like to do this racist tweets about Mexicans and also about black people. And Cinco de Mayo is today. Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. I always forget. Cinco de Mayo is a celebration in Mexico, is it not? I always forget this. In America, it's a day to drink tequila, basically. But in Mexico, I think it's actually a holiday. I always forget. And Trump's White House tweets, Happy Cinco de Mayo, or Cinco de Mayo to those who celebrate. And it's a picture of the two Democratic leaders dressed as Mexicans. And it says, I love illegal immigrants underneath it. Ha, 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 right? And again, it's meant to be racist against blacks. It's also meant to be racist against Mexicans and Latinos. So what did Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader, do? Happy Cinco de Mayo, White House. He tweeted this at them, which I'm sorry, I think it's freaking brilliant. It's Trump with Epstein. Not bad. Not bad at all. So that was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to act like children, throw it back at them, as far as I'm concerned. All right. I'm going to adjust this and sit back. There we go. Oh, my God. All right. All right. Anyway. Oh, sorry. And there was a really nice gift. Who got that really nice gift as I was showing that? Sorry, I was showing the video, so I couldn't thank you for the gift. I'm scrolling now to see. Hold on. I wish the gift stuff would have like a tally that I could click and see the most recent. I can look and see. I don't think the tally it gives me has them in order, which is too bad because like right now, I'm not seeing it. Oh, this is annoying me. Maybe somebody can tell me. So I wanted to think, because it was a really cool gift too. I think it was I was looking, but it was happening right as I was showing you the video, so I couldn't look away. It's not telling me now. Ugh. Or too many of you commented, which is not a bad thing. We like you commenting. Nope, I can't find it. It was that gift. Thank you, Andy. Was it you? That's really cool. It was that gift, but I can't remember. Sorry, I'm going down the bottom. I can't remember who it was, though. It was what Andy. Okay, thank you, Andy. Thank you. Well, no, now I want to look. Hang on. Now I just want to look really quick and see. I don't think it tells me who gave the most recent gift, but let me see. If it has Andy at the top, then it does. Nope. Fan Club Hub? Nope. Let me try the top here. Top viewers. Well, you know what? It gives me top viewers, but it's not in order. So like Diana's number 1, which could mean Diana gave a nicer gift. Andy's number 2, which again, I think it's by like who gave nicer stuff, but it's a little weird because it doesn't really tell me anything. TikTok is so weird on this stuff, Hold on, let me look here. Gifters. I'm just trying to see now if there's any. We're going to keep talking, guys, but I'm trying to see. Yeah, 81 gifters, but it doesn't tell me who you are. Weird. Very weird stuff. Okay, anyway, thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. That was a cool gift. All right, guys. Thank you, Flock. Appreciate that. The dandelion, which I saw in French. It's a pissenlit, I believe, which I couldn't believe was true. And I was like, I don't think I want to say that. The word for dandelion means piss in my bed or piss in bed, because apparently people would make dandelion wine or whatever, or dandelion to eat. Oh, thank you, Stormy. I love that one. And it, like the dandelion tea or whatever it was, makes you want to pee. And people would pee in bed after having dandelion tea. So it's called pissenlit. Anybody who's French, tell me if I'm wrong, but I was one of the French guys I follow on TikTok, was teaching vocabulary, and I was like, oh my God, that's the funniest damn thing. I'm never going to forget that. So it was very funny. Yep, very funny. Piss in bed. I do not like dandelions. Greeks like dandelions. I do not like dandelions. My nephew made spanakopita a couple months ago using dandelions, and I was like, please don't ever do that again. Oh, Andy's Ashley's husband. Oh, it's Ashley's husband, Andy. Thank you, Andy. You're funny. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Teeth of the lion. Dandelion? Oh, no way. Don de Leon? No way. It cannot be Don de Leon. No way. I mean, that's wild if that's true. Because Don are teeth, de Leon. There's no way. Yeah, thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. That's hilarious if that's true. See, now I want to know if that's true. I mean, Angeline is saying it. Well, yeah, no, that's really. I don't want to like disprove you, but I want to know for sure because I don't want to make a fool of myself next time I'm in France and I go, and then they go, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? And I'll say, oh, it was a Canadian who told me. Hang on. So, question: the word dandelion in English, is it actually derived from the French dent de lion? Teeth of the lion, or is that just apocryphal?
That's actually legit. Dandelion does come from the French dent de lion, meaning lion's tooth. It's a nod to the shape of the jagged leaves that look like, well, teeth. So no apocryphy here. Just a cool little letter.
That is good job, Angeline. That is hilarious. I never knew that. That is so funny. I never knew that. Wow. Dent de lion. Dandelion. Trump announces pause on escorting ships. Oh my God, he's such a flip-flopper. Yeah, the Greeks are very big on eating dandelions too. My grandmother, we were always so embarrassed. My dad would drop my grandmother off at the railroad tracks, and she'd walk along the railroad tracks because for whatever reason, the railroad tracks were great for dandelions. Maybe because nobody would go and actually pick weeds at a railroad track, right? Nobody de-weeds it. And she'd go and pick the weeds. Greeks love them. They boil them up like spinach, with olive oil and garlic and lemon. And I find them just disgusting. Well, first, I just find them gross in principle. But like I said, my nephew used it for spanakopita. And at first it was okay. And then I was like, I'm not liking this. The flavor's a little off. Yeah, they were bitter. That's the problem is they were bitter. The flavor, relax, Sasha. The flavor was just off a little bit, unfortunately. So, I know. It's still a bit early for you. Just wait. Horta, exactly. No way. Cain says, won't be eating dandelions. I don't mean either. Battle of Agincourt was covered with dandelions. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, again, Italians eat them too, apparently. But I'm not a big green guy to start with. So, like, as an adult, I've appreciated spinach cooked in things, right? Like, I appreciate cucumbers now. So I've got my Greek card on that one, tomatoes. But green leafy stuff is pushing it, and dandelions? Dandelion jelly tastes like honey? That's surprising. Very surprised on that one. Wow. Interesting. Coffee from roasted dandelion roots? Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's very interesting. Huh. That's like one of those dystopian TV shows or movies about, the world after a nuclear war where they had to make coffee, or in the future where they had to make coffee out of dandelion roots. Except probably no caffeine. Like chicory, yeah. That's funny. I don't remember. I just remember not liking it. I don't remember what it was the bitterness, honestly. And knowing they were dandelions did not thrill me either, but anyway, what else, guys? I hear you. I know. Hi. I know. You'll survive. 15 more minutes, okay? 15 minutes. No caffeine. Very strong, but not bitter coffee. That's very interesting. I mean, I'm very intrigued, though, that it would be, because you could make a decaf out of it, I guess. Greeks eat dandelions. So do Italians. Cain says, I make a simple syrup with clementines, right? And add cinnamon and cloves. Can be used for a dressing, a soda with club sweetener and cakes. Oh, that sounds good, though, yeah. Oh, that sounds very good, though. Yeah. That I like. Yeah, but that's clementines. That's like little oranges. That's a far cry from dandelions, Interesting. Dandelion salad, yep, just like us. Blooms are not bitter. Oh, the blossoms, that you eat the blossoms. That's funny. A bit sweet. How interesting. Hey. Roots are healthy. I mean, I'm sure it's good for you. It's a plant. I mean, you know, unless it's going to kill you, you know. But interesting. Very interesting. Oh, anyway. Pitipang, is that what you call dandelions, you mean, Zia, or what? In Hungarian? Could the ballroom be a cover for a government nuke bunker? I mean, it is a government nuke bunker. It's not cover. We know it is. I mean, they've already admitted it. Apparently, they had one under there anyway, and he wants to build a bigger one with a hospital and all this bullshit. But yeah, I mean, we know it is. Yeah. That's why he needs so much money. Again, actually, you know, the more you think about it, he wanted the ballroom, but he really wanted the nuclear bunker bigger and better and all of that, but he didn't want to get money for it. Maybe he couldn't get money for it, so he did the ballroom thing, pretended he had the money. He's doing what he always does. He lied. I mean, he just lied about the entire thing. And mind you, beginning all this construction without the money available. Like even that, like, what do you mean he needs $1 billion for security? How is he planning on funding the security measures? He told us the ballroom would only cost $200 million, and now it's $1 billion. Why? Why is it $1 billion when he said it was only $200 million, right? I mean, why does he need $1 billion when he said it was only going to cost then 400, and he said he already had 400 million? Was he not planning for any security measures before? I mean, this is what happens when you have no oversight. And again, they won't question him on anything, right? They won't question him on anything. Yeah, hospital facility for himself, exactly. He's going to embalm himself like Lenin. They've got Lenin embalmed in Red Square, dead Lenin. He's been dead for over 100 years. And they've got him embalmed like in the case. It's really creepy. You go through really fast. I saw him. It's dark. It's fast. It might be him. It might be a wax figure. Who knows? Knowing them, you know. But it's pretty creepy. So, you know. I mean, if you're there, it's worth seeing because it's such a cultural phenomenon. But, you know, very weird, though. And it's like, and he's not just embalmed, but he's there public. Like they've got him in a glass case so you can see the 100-year-old body embalmed. It's like, it's very creepy, yeah. But they're very creepy, so not a big surprise as far as that goes. Anyway. What else, guys? You saw Lenin's body when you were a kid? Yeah. I mean, it's worth seeing if you're there, obviously. You know? They're finding a ton of asbestos in the demolition of the West Wing or East Wing. I'm not surprised. I mean, there probably is stuff from forever ago, you know? Although I was reading that asbestos may not be a problem as long as you don't disturb it. Like, it's okay if it's in the East Wing. It's not okay if you destroy the building. Then you got to be careful. But yeah, lead paint too, probably. Yeah, painted over walls or whatever, I assume. You know? What else, guys? We got a few more minutes here. Old hospitals don't get demolished? Oh, that's interesting. Exactly, only if airborne. That's what I'd heard. Right. Thank you, Kenneth. That's a cute one. Thank you. TikTok gift. Abatements are expensive. Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. Anyway. Oh, what was your silly question? Probably not, but I don't remember. Did I already answer your question? Oh, yeah. Oh, is there a future benefit for, what does that mean? Sasha, I know. Is there a future benefit for future governments? What does that mean, Roy? I just don't know don't worry about being silly. I don't care. Oh, could the ballroom be a cover for a nuke bunker? Oh, that's what you meant. Except it literally is. Yeah, it literally is a cover for a nuke bunker. I mean, not a cover, but there was a bunker underneath it anyway, and they're building a bunker under this one too. So it is. But I think, look, knowing Donald Trump, he wants a ballroom. They were saying, there was an article recently, the ballroom is basically a front for Donald Trump to make money, for him to basically get donors to come and, you know, give him money. So I think the ballroom's legit it's legitimately corrupt. But yeah, thank you, James, for your gift question. Do you think there will be huge political change after Trump? Will there be changes in policies as a result? Depending what you mean. We don't have a choice but to try to pass laws so this never happens again. The problem is, I don't know how you enforce it. If the Congress is Republican, how do you, okay, the president isn't going to investigate himself. So the president breaks the law. Is his FBI going to investigate you, or the Department of Justice going to investigate you? Is the FBI going to arrest you, the president's own FBI? No, right? So what do you do? Especially these kind of guys, right, like the Trump guys. So that's the problem here, is I don't know how you pass laws, thank you, Tina. I don't know how you pass laws that make it so that a future Trump can't break all the laws he's breaking, wiping out agencies with no authorization to do it whatsoever, stealing money from the National Endowment for the Humanities to build his arch. He's just breaking the law left and right, and no one's holding him accountable. Pass more laws that'll break that the next Trump will break next time too. So that's the first problem. You know, not the first problem, that is the problem. I mean, then obviously you've got to unravel all the bullshit he's done. You've got to destroy all the monuments he's built to himself, all that crap. I mean, we've got to decide what to do. Like with this, if he builds this arch, do we destroy it or not? I don't know. It depends what it looks like. I'm sure we're going to have to take all the gay gold stuff off of it. That's going to have to happen. The Liberace stuff is going to have to go. Just like the White House, we're going to have to de-Liberace the entire White House. But otherwise, I mean, do you knock down the ballroom? That's a tough question. You're going to have to, again, de-Liberace, because the ballroom's going to literally look like Liberace lived there, you know? But other than that, I don't know, you know? Especially if we spend $1 billion of taxpayer money. Yeah, exorcism, exactly. But anything else he does, I mean, he dares put his face on Mount Rushmore, it's getting dynamited by the federal government next time. He puts his name on our airport, it's getting removed, just like the Kennedy Center. All that crap is getting removed, absolutely positively. But we need laws that somehow try to prevent this in the future, and I don't know how you do that. I just don't know how you, a lot of sage, exactly, to purify the spirits, exactly. The Greek, is it, I don't know if Fallen is still here. I think the Greeks actually do, isn't it sage that the Greeks use? Like in a new home? They bring sage, or they may even burn the sage, I forget, to like purify the home. Is it sage? I'm forgetting what it is. I remember that the Greeks do something like that, actually. I don't know if it's about spirits, but I thought there was something like that. Yeah, am I right? Sage, that's what I think so, yeah. But it's funny because like it's basil. Okay, see, for the Greeks it's basil. Okay, but do we burn it, or is it just bringing fresh basil? Is it just bringing, it's a Wiccan thing, okay. Do we just bring them basil? You don't burn the basil, I'm assuming, right? For the Greeks, I mean, yeah. Okay, so sage is the Wicca thing. Okay. Interesting, all right. Very interesting. Pine tree soda? Well, that's interesting. Well, it could be okay. I don't know. You know, who knows? Native American, yep. What else? A citrus taste? What, for pine? I don't know. Pine, I mean, pine resin, well, we have some resin that we use for Greeks. Hard to describe what the taste is. Yeah. You know? But no, mastica, exactly. I don't know what it would, but I don't know whether pine resin would taste the same. Actually, pine resin is very interesting because the Greeks use it like as incense, and we had pine trees at my house, and my mom would grab it, and I would do it sometimes too. The woodpeckers would peck the trees, and it would leak pine, it would weep resin. And you'd collect the resin and light it on fire, and it smelled wonderfully. Oh my God. it's an incense. It's a wonderful scent, but it's also kind of used in churches as well. But it's a very, it's a neat scent. Interesting. CBS is reporting a ship was struck by a cruise missile Tuesday, which may have influenced the decision to stop escorting ships through the strait. But a cruise missile, nobody has cruise missiles. Iran doesn't have cruise missiles, I don't think. Let me look and see if I can find, before we sign off right now, see if my defense types on Twitter are saying anything. 1 second here. Not now. Elon. Let me go to my defense section here. Sasha, I hear you. Just wait. Here we go. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that the operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, dubbed Project Freedom by the U.S., will be paused for a short period to see whether an agreement can be finalized and signed, although the blockade will remain in force. What? That doesn't make any sense. Trump, Iran, U.S. have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not agreement can be finalized and reached. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Trump is trying to convince us that progress is being made because now, instead of the U.S. escorting some ships through the Strait of Hormuz, we're not going to be escorting any ships through the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, you know what I mean? He's announcing breakthrough. We're now not sending any ships through. So we're back to a full blockade again of the strait from some ships getting through, and Trump is saying that's a step in the right direction. He will lie about anything. He will absolutely lie about anything. I mean, I just blows my mind, this guy. I'm not seeing anything about a cruise missile here. The problem is Elon really screwed up Twitter, because like you no longer get things, in like a timely manner. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about a cruise missile from I believe you, but from Reuters or anybody else. So we still don't know. 1 second, are following. Let me see here. Do one last look and then we'll call it quits here. Wow. No. Nope. Nope. Okay. Anyway, believe you, but nothing's coming up. I will do one last look for cruise missile, but I'd be surprised if Iran has cruise missiles. Let me do cruise missile news. Nope. Oh, Iran does have cruise missiles. 13 hours ago, U.S. Navy intercepts Iranian cruise missiles. So Iran does have cruise missiles then. Okay. All right. I don't know who the source is. It's on Yahoo Finance, but not clear who the source is. But U.S. Navy fired interceptors at inbound Iranian cruise missiles in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday morning. Okay. Wow, I mean, wait, interceptors were almost certainly built by Raytheon. Okay, Iran fired cruise missiles at U.S. Navy ships. Iran fired cruise missiles at U.S. Navy ships, but it wasn't a violation of the ceasefire. AP and Reuters. It just didn't say, the thing is, it just didn't say what the source was. That's what was bothering me. You know what I mean? It wasn't clear, whatever, it just wasn't clear. But yeah, Iran fires cruise missiles at U.S. ships, and we don't treat it as though it's a violation of the ceasefire? Okay. Exactly. Taco Tuesday. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, that is what we got going. It's 7:17. I'm going to go. I usually do the show about an hour and 15 minutes, and it's been an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you for joining us. The dog wants her treat. I know, you're next. You're next. You'll get your treat next. Just wait. You will. The look I've got from this dog. Oh, my God. So thank you for joining us, guys. Appreciate your gifts. Appreciate you hanging out with us. I will be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern. So join us then. Other than that, thanks, everybody. Substack, Discord, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, everybody else. Twitch. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, but let me start with, as always, I'll start with Discord, but I will see you guys mañana at 6 o'clock Eastern again. Good night, Discordians first. Hang on, Discord, there we go. Bam. All right. Substack, see you, NJ. Substack and YouTube, see you guys. Pine has a soft flavor. Yeah, I'm curious about pine. I would taste it. Why not? Very interesting, though. Do you think if Iran, sorry, real quick, do I think if Iran got a nuclear weapon, they would use it without a second thought? I don't know. I'm 50-50 on Iran. Here's the thing. Nuclear weapons can make you cautious because if you use a nuclear weapon like Iran, who are they going to use it on? Israel? If they use it on Israel, Israel's got nuclear weapons and is going to end Iran as Israel's got 100 nuclear weapons. At least they're going to end Iran as we know it. So you'd think in that case, they'd be very careful about that, right? Right? They would just be careful with that. But having said that, Iran is a terror state. I mean, it's a real terror state, like terrorists blowing things up around the world, suicide bombers. That's the Iranian government. So if you've got a government of people who believe in suicide bombing, saying, well, you'd die too if you used your nuclear weapon, that's kind of what they do. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's why I say Iran, it's sort of like North Korea. There's an aspect of mutual assured destruction that might keep them in place, and there's an aspect of them being a little, North Korea's crazier, for sure. But Iran, very, very, very bad government. Very bad government. So that's the thing. They cannot be permitted together. But it's a good question, though, yeah. All right, I'm going to sign off, guys. Have a good night. I always sort of stop the show after an hour and 15 to protect my voice. So, all right, have a good night, everybody. Thank you. TikTok, your last.